Mr. Mimulus. Hare Krishna, my friends. Welcome to Bhaktiville. It's Friday night, and every Friday night, we're here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. In our reading last week, Narada Muni explained his realization of his short time with the sages. Quote, "It is decided by the learned that the best remedial measure for removing all troubles and miseries is to dedicate one's activities to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna." End quote. And that's the long and the short of it. Srila Prabhupada used to say very often that we should make the best of a bad bargain. Dedicate one's activities to Krishna, and there it is. So let's continue with our reading. Tonight we're on Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 34. You'll find that on page 303 of the PDF or page 269 of the book. But before we get started, let me offer my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. And please accept my humble obeisances, dear devotees, Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripasindubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees and can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. So that goes out to everybody, you who are here, who are listening, and to everybody in the universes everywhere. All right, we've got our verses that we sing before Bhagavatam, and Bhaktiville, I think we'll move the slides along as needed. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So friends at home, sing these along with me, okay? All right, next one. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridyantasto Yabhadrani Vidhu Noti Suhritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, the Supersoul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service under the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Hey, well, we were reading that, and they were saying that Paramatma is a supersoul in your heart. When my grandson was little, I told him, Krishna's in your heart. Krishna's in your heart. I'd say it all the time. Who's in your heart? Krishna's in your heart. So he goes to the doctor, right? And the doctor goes, this is your heart. What What is your heart? He says, Krishna's in my heart. Oh boy, kids are wonderful. Okay, so text 34, page 303 of the PDF, or page 269 of the book. Kandita's laughing at that little story. It's a great story, right? All right. So text 34, call and response. Evam rinam kriya yoga. Evam rinam kriya yoga. Sarve samsriti hetavaha. Sarve samsriti hetavaha. Ta ev atma vinashaya. Ta ev atma vinashaya. Kalpante kalpita pare. Kalpante kalpita pare. And the whole thing, we can sing it all together. Evam rinam kriya yoga sarve samsriti hetavaha ta evatma vinashaya kalpante kalpita pare. Kandita, would you like to sing the next verse? Are you still here?
Yes, I'm still here. Okay.
I think that your microphone is not in front of your mouth at this point. Try again.
Now is it? Now can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. Oh gosh, today's something weird about today. Okay. Evanrinam kriya yoga sarve samsmriti hetavaha ta evatma vinashaya kalpante kalpita pare.
I think because you weren't next to me, I didn't hear you well. I need to change that setting on my computer. All right, word for word.
I'll get closer. I just don't like these square mats all the time. I don't like moving around on them. So I got up and I'm gonna get one of the round pillows and get them to move up. So
so I use the one called Patience, and I don't move
yeah.
around.
Okay,
There's no
all
moving
right. I'll
around.
do that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I
Go
understand.
ahead.
Or peace, Bhaktiville says.
All right. All right.
Totally still.
Okay.
All right.
Now I'll turn off.
Okay. Word for word. Evam, thus, nrinam, of the human being. Kriya yogaha, all activities. Sarve, everything. Samsruti, material existence. Hetavaha, causes. Te, that. Eva, certainly. Atma, the tree of work. Vinashaya, killing. Kalpante, become competent. Kalpitaha, dedicated. Pare, unto the transcendence. Translation. Thus, when all a man's activities are dedicated to the service of the Lord, those very activities which caused his bondage become the destroyer of the tree of work. Purport. Fruit of work, which has perpetually engaged the living being, is compared with the banyan tree in the Bhagavad Gita, for it is certainly very deeply rooted. And here's that verse. It's Bhagavad Gita 15:1. There's a banyan tree which has its roots upwards and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. So that's that verse he's referring to. As long as the propensity for enjoying the fruit of work is there, one has to continue the transmigration of the soul from one body or place according to one's nature of work. The propensity for enjoyment may be turned into the desire for serving the mission of the Lord. By doing so, One's activity is changed into karma yoga, or the way by which one can attain spiritual perfection, while engaging in the work for which he has a natural tendency. Here, the word atma indicates the categories of all fruitive work. The conclusion is that when the result of all fruitive and other work is dovetailed with the service of the Lord, it will cease to generate further karma and will gradually develop into transcendental devotional service, which will not only cut off completely the root of the banyan tree of work, but will also carry the performer to the lotus feet of the Lord. The summary is that one has to, first of all, seek the association of pure devotees, who are not only learned in the Vedanta, but are self-realized souls and unalloyed devotees of Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. In that association, the neophyte devotees must render loving service physically and mentally without reservation. This service attitude will induce the great souls to be more favorable in bestowing their mercy, which injects the neophyte with all the transcendental qualities of the pure devotees. Gradually, this is developed into a strong attachment to hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, which makes him able to catch up the constitutional position of the gross and subtle bodies, and beyond them, the knowledge of pure soul and his eternal relation with the Supreme Soul, the personality of Godhead. After the relation is ascertained by establishment of the eternal relation, pure devotional service of the Lord begins gradually developing into perfect knowledge of the personality of Godhead, beyond the purview of impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma. By such Purushottama Yoga, it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, one is made perfect even during the present corporeal existence, and one exhibits all the good qualities of the Lord to the highest percentage. Such is the gradual development by association of pure devotees. So Purushottama is Purusha Uttama, so supreme person. Purushottama, the yoga of the supreme person, Purushottama yoga. And I also wanted to just read this excerpt from the purport of this Bhagavad Gita verse that I just read. So Prabhupada says, now there is no ready experience in this world of a tree situated with its branches down and its roots upward, but there is such a thing. That tree can be found beside a reservoir of water. We can see that the trees on the bank reflect upon the water with their branches down and their roots up. In other words, the tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. This reflection of the spiritual world is situated on desire, just as the tree's reflection is situated on water. I really love that section of the purport. All right, text 35, call and response. Yadatra kriyate karma, yadatra kriyate karma, bhagavat paritoshanam, bhagavat paritoshanam, jnanam yat tad adinam hi, jnanam yat tad adinam hi, bhakti yoga samanvitam, bhakti yoga samanvitam, and the whole verse. Yadatra kriyate karma, bhagavat paritoshanam, jnanam yattad adinam hi, bhakti yoga samanvitam. Kandita, did you want to read this?
Did I turn it?
Yes, you did. You turned it off. Okay.
All right, sorry. Gosh. Yad atra kriyate karma bhagavat paritoshanam jnanam yatad adhinam he bhakti yoga samanvitam.
Thank you. Nice. All right, word for word. Yet, whatever, atra, in this world, or in this life or world, kriyate, does perform, karma, work, bhagavat, unto the personality of Godhead, paritoshanam, satisfaction of, jnanam, knowledge, yet, what is so called, adhinam, dependent, he, certainly, bhakti yoga, devotional, samanvitam, dovetailed with bhakti yoga. Translation. Whatever work is done here in this life for the satisfaction of the mission of the Lord is called bhakti yoga, or transcendental loving service of the Lord. And what is called knowledge becomes a concomitant factor. So that knowledge naturally comes when you're involved in bhakti yoga. Purport. The general and popular notion is that by discharging fruitive work in terms of the direction of the scriptures, one becomes perfectly able to acquire transcendental knowledge for spiritual realization. Bhakti yoga is considered by some to be another form of karma. But factually, bhakti yoga is above both karma and jnana. Bhakti yoga is independent of jnana or karma. On the other hand, jnana and karma are dependent on bhakti yoga. This kriya yoga or karma yoga, as recommended by Sri Narada to Vyasa, is specifically recommended because the principle is to satisfy the Lord. The Lord does not want his sons and daughters, the living beings, to suffer the threefold miseries of life. He desires that all of them come to him and live with him. But going back to Godhead means that one must purify himself from material infections. When work is therefore performed to satisfy the Lord, the performer becomes gradually purified from the material affection. This purification means attainment of spiritual knowledge. Therefore, knowledge is dependent on such karma or work, which is done on behalf of the Lord. Other knowledge, being devoid of bhakti yoga or satisfaction of the Lord, cannot lead one back to the kingdom of God, which means that it cannot even offer salvation, as is already explained in connection with the stanza Naishkarmyam apyachuta bhava bharjitam, etc. The conclusion is that a devotee engaged in the unalloyed service of the Lord, specifically in hearing and chanting of his transcendental glories, becomes simultaneously spiritually enlightened by the divine grace, as it is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. So this phrase, Naishkarmyam apyachuta bhava bharjitam, we just read this a couple weeks ago. It's Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.12. And that verse, the English translation is, knowledge of self-realization, even though freed from all material affinity, does not look well if devoid of a conception of the infallible, or God. What then is the use of fruitive activities, which are naturally painful from the very beginning and transient by nature, if they are not utilized for the devotional service of the Lord? So just reiterating that same point. Text 36, call and response. Kurvana yatra karmani, kurvana yatra karmani, bhagavach chikshaya sakrit. Sorry, I did that whole all together. Bhagavach chikshaya sakrit. Bhagavach chikshaya sakrit. Granti Guna Namani Grananti guna namani Krishnasya nusma nusmaranti cha. Sorry, I should have done that word altogether, but it's so long. Krishnasya nusmaranti cha. All right, we'll do the whole thing all together. Kurvana yatra karmani bhagavat chikshaya sakrit grinanti guna namani Krishnasya nusmaranti cha cha. All right, Kandita, good luck.
Kurvana yatri karmani bhagavat chikshaya sakrit grinanti guna namani Krishna syanu maranti cha.
Excellent, thank you. All right, word for word. Kurvanaha, while performing. Yatra, thereupon. Karmani, duties. Bhagavat, the personality of Godhead. Shikshaya, by the will of. Asakrit, constantly. Grinanti, takes on. Guna, qualities. Namani, names. Krishnasya, of Krishna. Anusmaranti, constantly remembers. Cha, and. So you see smara in there, remember, smara. Translation. While performing duties according to the order of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one constantly remembers him, his names, and qualities. Purport. An expert devotee of the Lord can mold his life in such a way that while performing all kinds of duties, either for this or the next life, he can constantly remember the Lord's name, fame, qualities, etc. The order of the Lord is distinctly there in Bhagavad Gita. One should work only for the Lord in all spheres of life. In every sphere of life, the Lord should be situated as the proprietor. According to the Vedic rites, even in the worship of some demigods like Indra, Brahma, Saraswati, Ganesha, the system is that, in all circumstances, the representation of Vishnu must be there as Ganeshvara, or the controlling power of such sacrifices. It is recommended that a particular demigod be worshipped for a particular purpose, but still, the presence of Vishnu is compulsory in order to make the function proper. Apart from such Vedic duties, even in our ordinary dealings, for example, in our household affairs or in our business or profession, we must consider that the result of all activities must be given over to the Supreme Enjoyer, Lord Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has declared himself to be the supreme enjoyer of everything, as the supreme proprietor of every planet and the supreme friend of all beings. Except Lord Sri Krishna, no one else can claim to be the proprietor of everything within his creation. A pure devotee remembers this constantly, and in doing so, he repeats the transcendental name, fame, and qualities of the Lord, which means that he is constantly in touch with the Lord. The Lord is identical with his name, fame, etc., and therefore, to be associated with his name, fame, etc., constantly means actually to associate with the Lord. The major portion of our monetary income, not less than 50%, must be spent to carry out the order of Lord Krishna. We should not only give the profit of our earning to this cause, but we must also arrange to preach this cult of devotion to others, because that is also one of the orders of the Lord. The Lord definitely says that no one is more dear to him than one who is always engaged in the preaching work of the Lord's name and fame all over the world. The scientific discoveries of the material world can also be equally engaged in carrying out his order. He wants the message of the Bhagavad Gita to be preached amongst his devotees. It may not be so done amongst those who have no credit of austerities, charity, education, etc. Therefore, the attempt must go on to convert unwilling men to become his devotees. Lord Chaitanya has taught a very simple method in this connection. He has taught the lesson for preaching the transcendental message through singing, dancing, and refreshment. As such, 50% of our income may be spent for this purpose. In this fallen age of quarrel and dissension, if only the leading and wealthy persons of society agree to spend 50% of their income in the service of the Lord, as it is taught by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is absolute certainty of converting this hell of pandemonium to the transcendental abode of the Lord. No one will disagree to partake in a function where good singing, dancing, and refreshment are administered. Everyone will attend such a function, and everyone is sure to feel individually the transcendental presence of the Lord. This alone will help the attendant associate with the Lord. Let me start that over again. This alone will help the attendant associate with the Lord, and thereby purify himself in spiritual realization. The only condition for successfully executing such spiritual activities is that they must be conducted under the guidance of a pure devotee, who is completely free from all mundane desires, fruitive activities, and dry speculations about the nature of the Lord. No one has to discover the nature of the Lord. It is already spoken by the Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita, especially, and in all other Vedic literatures generally. We have simply to accept them in toto and abide by the orders of the Lord. That will guide us to the path of perfection. One can remain in his own position. No one has to change his position, especially in this age of variegated difficulties. The only condition is that one must give up the habit of dry speculation to become one with the Lord. Give that up. And after giving up such lofty, puffed up vanities, one may very submissively receive the orders of the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam from the lips of a bona fide devotee, whose qualification is mentioned above. That will make everything successful, without a doubt. So I just want to add here first. Yeah, go ahead, Kandita.
No, you go ahead and add, but I have a question, so go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to say that it's not me that's communicating this. I'm not the pure devotee. We're reading Srila Prabhupada's words. He's the pure devotee. He's the one who's transmitting this Shakti, this powerful message from Krishna to us. I'm just reading it. So just want to point that out. It's not me, it's him. It's all about Prabhupada. Okay, Kandita, question.
Yes, boy, I just had it highlighted and then, let's see, where is it? Let's see. Okay, this alone, wait, under the guidance of pure devotee who's completely free from, okay. Well, I mean, Prabhupada says this in several places and including in the invocation. You know, that one must hear the holy names from the lips of a pure devotee, else it will cause a poisonous effect. But then at the same time, I've read and heard that there's lots of non-devotees that will just say Hare Krishna or something like that, and they get all benefits. So, and they're not pure devotees. So I just don't understand Why is, how's it different? I mean, it is or it isn't. It's,
Okay, I get it. Bhakti Mimula says that's a good point. Plus, Prabhupada sent out students to preach. So, my understanding of that is that it comes from. So, first off, Krishna responds in kind. It's a reciprocal relationship. He's, if whatever we're offering, if we're offering it from our heart and purely, um, then he reciprocates in kind. So the people who are singing, who are Mayavadis, for instance, who don't think that there's even a supreme God, um, who think that, and here Prabhupada talks about them a little bit, who want to merge into the absolute. Um, so those people, you're not going to have that same um, power in the mantra from a person who's singing like that. A person who is a Mayavadi who's singing Hare Krishna, it's not going to be the same because Krishna's not going to reciprocate with that. But a person who is just starting, or someone on the street that you're doing Sankirtan and you're asking someone to chant Hare Krishna, they have no qualms. They're sincerely chanting. They have, it's like this is completely new, and yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. That's very sincere stuff, very powerful, and Krishna reciprocates with that. So that's my understanding, is that it comes from the person who's saying it, and Krishna's reciprocating in kind. Actually, not even in kind times 100. He's reciprocating. So the person who's a Mayavadi who's singing Hare Krishna is like poison. It is, because he's not sincere. He doesn't understand what the mantra is all about. Does that explain it, Kandita? I think your sound is off.
Yeah, yes, it does explain it. And actually, I just remembered something. Well, Lassie, when she used to come over here and sometimes stay with me, and she always wanted to go to these different impersonalist yogis and listen to them, and I just thought it was kind of weird, but anyway, she convinced me to go with her, or to drive her over to Kona's side to go and see and listen to this impersonalist yogini, else, an Indian woman. And all she would do is, there would be a line of people, and then she would just hug them a little bit, and then they would move on, and the next person would do that, and then move on. And that's all she did. But then they had japa beads for sale, and then her followers had a Hare Krishna kirtan, and it was so different. I felt nothing. It was not at all like hearing from the devotees who were not impersonalists, from bona fide devotees who have heard through Srila Prabhupada. And yeah, it it really is it really is true. So yeah. Anyway, and they wore devotional clothing, and they had, these japa beads and everything, but wow, yeah, it felt like dry and nothing, really. So, yes, thank you both for your explanations, and I just wanted to include that. And I never went with her to any of these groups again. I don't know, she would spend a lot of money to fly over to California to listen to some impersonalist yogi talk or something, and it's just weird. So I don't know, you know. But
I've gone to
that's all.
see. I've gone to thank you. Yeah, nothing like over at the Hare Krishna temple. You know, this is and Bhakti Mimulus for people here. Um, uh, Kandita writes in chat. Actually, that is true. I've experienced hearing Hare Krishna kirtan from impersonalists, and I felt nothing, not like hearing from devotees. Yeah. So, yeah. So we just have to remember constantly this is a reciprocal relationship. It's not any it's that. Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, there he is. You're talking with him, you're chanting, you're singing, you know, you're developing a relationship. You know, yoga, the cognate in English is yoke. You're connecting with him. Sambandha, that connection. So Kandita says, thank God, thank Krishna for Prabhupada. Yes, absolutely. And it just, you know, for me, just seemed like a natural movement from, you know, as a young adult to being Vaishnava. No blip in the relationship with God, with Krishna at all. Just more. Anyway, so I read that whole thing. Yeah, something in toto. Yep, I read that. All right, so we'll do one more. And we'll stop there. We started late. Had all kinds of weird technical sound stuff again. So we'll do one more. Text 37. Oh, this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. Okay, text 37. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam. Vasudevaya Dhimahi. Vasudevaya Dhimahi. Pradyumnaya Nir. Oh, okay. So it's Pradyumna Anirudaya. Okay, so Pradyumnaya Nirudaya Namaha, or just Nama, Sankarshanaya Cha. I'll do the whole thing. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnaya Nirudaya Nama Sankarshanaya Cha. Kandita?
Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhya Vasudeva Dhimahi Pradyumna Anirudhaya Nama Sankarshanaya Cha.
Great, thank you. All right, word for word. Om, the sign of chanting the transcendental glory of the Lord. Namaha, offering obeisances unto the Lord. Bhagavate, unto the personality of Godhead. Tubhyam, unto you. Vasudevaya, unto the Lord, the son of Vasudev. Dhimahi, let us chant. Pradyumnaya, Anirudhaya, and Sankarshanaya, all plenary expansions of Vasudev. Namaha, respectful obeisances, Cha, and. Translation. Let us all chant the glories of Vasudev, along with his plenary expansions, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshan. So these are the Chaturvyuha, and I'm not going to get into it. Prabhupada gets into it a bit here in the purport, but later on, you know, we're still at the beginning, and it's that those dolls that you open up one and there's another doll inside, you open up another and one inside. So that's what's happening here. This is kind of an overview of what's going on in the rest of the 12 cantos. Okay, purport. According to Pancharatra, Narayana is the primeval cause of all expansions of Godhead. These are Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Vasudeva and Sankarshan are on the middle, left and right. Pradyumna is on the right of Sankarshan, and Aniruddha is on the left of Vasudeva. And thus, the four deities are situated. They are known as the four aides-de-camp of Lord Sri Krishna. This is a Vedic hymn or mantra beginning with Omkara Pranava, and thus the mantra is established by the transcendental chanting process, namely Om Namo Dhimahi, etc. The purport is that any transaction, either in the field of fruitive work or empiric philosophy, which is not ultimately aimed at transcendental realization of the Supreme Lord, is considered to be useless. Narada Ji has therefore explained the nature of unalloyed devotional service by his personal by his personal experience in the development. Hang on, I gotta sorry. Oh, just comes up. All right, I'll start that over. Narada Ji has therefore explained the nature of unalloyed devotional service by his personal experience in the development of intimacy between the Lord and the living entity by gradual process of devotional activities, progressive devotional activities. Such a progressive march of transcendental devotion for the Lord culminates in the attainment of loving service of the Lord, which is called prema, in different transcendental variegatedness called rasas or tastes. Such devotional service is also executed in mixed forms, namely mixed with fruitive work or empiric philosophical speculation. So that's karma and jnana. Now, the question which was raised by the great rishis, headed by Shonaka, regarding the confidential part of Suta's achievement through the spiritual master is explained herein by chanting this hymn consisting of 33 letters or syllables. And this mantra is addressed to the four deities or the Lord with his plenary expansions. The central figure is Lord Sri Krishna because the plenary portions are his aide-de-camp. The most confidential part of the instruction is that one should always chant and remember the glories of Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with his different plenary portions expanded as Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. These expansions are the original deities for all other truths, namely either Vishnu Tattva or Shakti Tattvas. So I just want to go back to the very first phrase of this purport, according to Pancharatra. So that's temple worship, Pancharatra. And Prabhupada and Srimad Bhagavatam explain a little bit more about that later on, but I just wanted to make that clear what that is. Pancharatra and Bhakti Yoga don't collide but overlap. So we'll learn more about that in verses to come. Any more questions or comments about what's going on here? What we're reading? Bhakti maybe
No.
Not from me.
No.
Not for
me.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Well, this has been fun. Thank you so much, everyone, for letting me read. And thank you to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hi, Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.